There were a lot of things that happened in the short time span since the traveler first arrived in Fontaine. Linny's trial, the reveal that he was part of the Fatui, Fossalor's really weird behavior, and the prophecy that seems to claim that Fontaine is on the verge of destruction. But amongst these, there was one thing that happened that seemed rather odd and wasn't really talked about much. Why did Tartaglia's vision suddenly start to malfunction? In this video, we're going to explore what exactly is going on with his vision and see if we can come up with a plausible reason behind it. Before we dive into that, if you want to see more Genshin Impact content, do consider subscribing to the channel. The vision is a central and important object within the Genshin Impact universe. It's essentially an item that allows the playable characters to wield the 7 different elements. Visions are essentially gifts given by the gods of Celestia to humans who are said to have immense potential and the possibility of ascending to godhood. They function as lenses of a crystallized ambition through which a user can collect and channel elemental powers to produce a myriad of different effects, from generating simple flames to creating elemental sentient creatures. That's basically the crash course to what a vision is. Truth be told though, there is a lot we still don't know about them. We don't know how they are really granted and the conditions for receiving them. We don't know how one ascends after receiving one, and we don't know their actual true purpose despite some archons trying to explain it. So when we first see Tartaglia's vision going on the fritz, like it's lost its Wi-Fi connection or something, it's actually a bigger mystery than the scene might have initially indicated. Tartaglia might have just tossed it aside, but with how central the vision is to the world of Genshin Impact, the implication of it is like gravity itself stopped working. It is the first time, at least to my recollection, that we've ever seen a vision stop working altogether. Now, why this happened is largely unknown. Maybe it has something to do with Fontaine itself and Hydro Visions specifically, or perhaps it's related to Tartaglia alone and other Hydro Vision users are just fine. I have some ideas about this, and after sharing them, let's see which one makes the most sense. Let's start off with a more high-level and zoomed-out view. Is it a coincidence that Tartaglia's vision suddenly stops working when he is in the literal region of Hydro? There are many suspicious things happening within Fontaine at the very moment. The Oratrice, the potential appearance of the Hydro Dragon, and even the rather spooky prophecy of Fontaine itself drowning. The Oratrice specifically is also said to have been built using technology taken straight from Khaenri'ah. In addition, the Hydro Archon Fossalor has also been shown to outright mention that she isn't beyond judging even the other gods. To add to that, based on past experience and testimony of Raiden A herself, visions actually have little to do with the Archons, at least when it comes to who gets what vision. So given these bits of information, perhaps Fontaine has somehow lost favor with the gods of Celestia, and since we know that Celestia is largely in charge of controlling who gets what vision, perhaps they just stopped them from working in Fontaine. Why they would do this is beyond me, but it's still a possibility. Now, this is admittedly a rather weak idea. We know too little about Fontaine and Celestia to have this idea be reasonably acceptable, so alternatively, maybe this has nothing to do with Celestia and more about Fontaine itself. Given what we learned about Fontaine and how some of their citizens are being dissolved into water, as well as the water being filled with negative emotions such as anger and hate, perhaps a high concentration of these energies in the water is what is affecting the Hydro Visions. But again, it's difficult to confirm this since we don't know much about how such emotions may affect the usage or functionality of a vision, since most visions are very individualized. As I mentioned, a vision is sort of a crystallized version of an individual's dreams. Perhaps instead of a geographical reason, its malfunction is directly related to the state of mind Tartaglia himself is in. When Kazuha first deflected the Muso no Hitotachi of Raiden Shogun, he had brought back to life the vision of his past friend, whose wish was to achieve just that. So it stands to reason that if Kazuha could reignite the dreams of a vision that wasn't originally his, the opposite must also be possible. Maybe Tartaglia has started to question or doubt his initial goals and dreams, the very dream that granted him his vision. As you might recall, Tartaglia started off as a villain. I mean, technically he still is. But his many interactions with the traveler throughout the story have built their friendship and relationship, and they largely greet each other as friends whenever they meet. It's possible that Tartaglia has started to question why he is even in the Fatui in the first place and what he is doing, causing his vision to malfunction due to this internal conflict. This isn't something we can confirm now, however, and perhaps may turn out to be untrue as only Childe himself could confirm this. There is another possibility, however, that could answer why Tartaglia's vision isn't working as normal. Right before we were shown his vision having problems, Tartaglia actually mentioned something about his previous master and teacher. If you didn't know, Tartaglia learned how to fight and survive from a very young age when he fell into the abyss as a child. A person going by the name Skirk trained Tartaglia in every martial form she knew, but it was never explained why she did this. It was in this very same conversation with Tartaglia that we learned the reason. According to him, Skirk initially trained him because she saw that Tartaglia had awakened something within himself. Now, while I'm inclined to believe that this has something to do with his vision, Skirk is one of the very few people we know who was able to survive the miasma and environment of the abyss. As such, I think that perhaps instead of awakening some ability to control the elements, Childe may have awakened something related to the powers of the abyss. Keep in mind that humans are actually the original creation of the primordial one, and each one of them has an unknown destiny. A destiny not even the gods themselves actually know. So with the story moving closer to the end, perhaps Tartaglia is the first of many who has started to awaken this special power and is what is preventing him from fully utilizing his vision. On top of that, if this ability really has something to do with the Abyss, it would make sense why a vision would malfunction, since the Abyss energies are opposite in nature to elemental energy. A lot of this, however, is again unproven. It's theories based on what has happened in the past and a lot of guessing. The story might take a whole different route, and his vision malfunctioning could have little impact in the future and be of no real consequence. However, I do think that this issue isn't as small as it might appear, and with Childe directly naming and referring to his former master, I think we might be in the part of the overall story where humanity's true origins are starting to be revealed. A vision malfunctioning could be a sign that we're in the endgame, or maybe it's not really a big deal. Let me know in the comments what you think are the reasons behind Childe's technical difficulties. If you enjoyed the video, do consider liking and subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching, and as usual, have a nice day.